I hated high school. Now I know this might sound strange because for most people, high school was the time of their lives. But not for me. I absolutely despised it with every fiber of my being. The fact that I'd eventually become a high school history teacher is therefore even weirder. But let's not get ahead of ourselves and start at the beginning. When I was still in elementary school, I was known as the popular kid, which makes it all the weirder that when I got to high school, which by the way starts at the age of 12 here in Holland, since we don't have something called middle school here, I turned into this incredibly shy kid that didn't talk to anyone. Sure, I could blame it on puberty, but that wouldn't explain the fact that I never got over this shyness. I made great leaps forward these last couple of years, but still, it's like I became a completely different person when I got to high school. Because of my shyness, I was unable to properly talk to people. No matter if it were my peers, teachers, or anyone else for that matter, I was so incredibly shy that I couldn't talk to anyone. I hated being around people, and whenever I was around others, I had this feeling like I wanted to flee. I still feel this way as an adult, but I learned to deal with it as best as I can, making me seem like a normal person on the outside whenever I'm around others. Being as shy and socially awkward as I was, caused others to dislike me quite a bit. No one would ever talk to me, and I was basically ignored by my peers throughout my entire teens. At the time, I held a tremendous grudge against others for not talking to me, but in hindsight, I can't really blame them. My awkwardness made everyone incredibly uncomfortable. Fortunately, I was never bullied, which would have made things even worse if that was the case. My saving grace was that everyone knew I was a decent boxer. I would do Muay Thai kickboxing, and I was actually really good at it. People knew that I was off limits because I was able to kick their behinds if push came to shove, so yeah, they'd leave me alone. But being a good fighter didn't make me popular. I was an outcast. As you can imagine, being lonely all the time, even though you're surrounded by your peers all day, doesn't really make you enjoy your time at school. For a while, I did have some friends. Just like me, they were outcasts and no one would ever talk to them. And so, they had nowhere to turn and they would turn to me. For some time, we got along perfectly fine, but eventually, one of these so-called friends decided that he didn't like sharing the other friends with me. So the result was that he turned everyone against me and I lost my so-called friends in one single sweep. Again, in hindsight, they weren't true friends since they were able to just turn on me without a second thought, but at the time it really hurt. It solidified the ideas I had in my head about myself. It gave me the feeling that I was alone and would always be alone. Now, to be transparent, until this very day I'm quite the loner. This awkwardness that I carry with me has haunted me for so long now that I'm just used to it. It's not as bad as it was during my high school days, but still. For some it might be hard to imagine, but let me give you an idea of why I hated high school so much. I'd get to school feeling all awkward. My stomach would hurt because I had to endure another day of what, at the time, felt like torture. During the day I'd constantly have to go to the bathroom because of my nervousness. Now during school hours I'd always be alone. I chose a seat that was closest to the door so I could get in and out of the classroom as fast as possible. I wouldn't talk to people and no one would talk to me. If the teacher would ask me anything, I was barely able to form a proper sentence. Some teachers would therefore never ask me anything and leave me alone. Others would specifically focus on me a lot. As a teacher myself, I like to think that they do this to try and get me out of my shell, but I can't deny that some teachers were just trying to be annoying. How do I know that? Because I've seen former colleagues do the same thing to their own students who were as nervous as I was. During lunch, I'd just sit alone. In fact, I'd always sit outside, far away from everyone else. Even when it was snowing, I'd sit outside at the exact same spot, because it was safe there. Sure, it was cold, but it was also safe. During group projects, I was also ignored by my peers, and since I didn't have the guts to speak up, I'd just be tossed some work I could do and that was that. In hindsight, it's crazy to think about. I'm not that type of person anymore. I'm still awkward and shy, absolutely, but I can speak up for myself now. Mainly because as an adult, if you don't, others will eat you alive. It's a harsh world out there. There were many other reasons as to why my high school days were awful, which I'm, for now, not willing to share, but I think that especially if you're an awkward person yourself, this story might actually resonate with you. Finally, if you'd be so kind to click on the like button and also click on the subscribe button, that'd be amazing. Don't forget to click on the little bell when subscribing though, because you will not get notifications to all of my videos otherwise. Thank you for watching.